I wonder what the top story of that game was.
Yeah, whatever will we talk about?
How about the assist machine himself?
That is an excellent idea, sir. You do the honors.
Oh my goodness, thank you. Okay. With his 4th assist of the season, Freddie Gauthier establishes a new career high in points.
Really?
Hi! Victory puppy! Plan the parade!
I have no idea what I'm doing.
God to the riches of the league! This team is ruining my life! Victory puppy! Oh my goodness, you're so skinny! Hasn't been that long since they won?
Oh, it's a haircut. Okay.
Oh, you're beautiful. That was the longest losing streak ever. It's hard being a Leafs fan. The boys are good, the coffee is good, and the buds are all day. Leafs win! 4-1 over the Carolina Hurricanes. That's better! Now, granted, the Leafs have been getting killed by backup goalies this season. Yaroslav Halak, Anton Khudobin. Does Curtis McElhinney count anymore? But in the same way that you could sort of predict that the world was going to implode if the Leafs lost their first 2 games with Nylander in the lineup, you could sort of predict Peter Mrazek looking like a Vezina candidate in this one. And early on, that was certainly the case. Diving across, here we go. We're not going to get this bum version of Peter Mrazek that we've been getting. We're going to get the World Junior version of him. Remember that? If you're old, Peter Mrazek was celebrating by jumping up into the glass long before he was a Carolina Hurricane. And a teeny part of me, just a little part of me was like, good. Just stone the Leafs. 69 save shutout. Let's go. Steal that starting job from McElhinney just so everyone shuts up about it. Sorry, unfortunately, last game left me a little unstable. All of a sudden, the Leafs score first and cooler heads prevail. Okay, remember the last game in Carolina? Leafs got outshot like 29-11 or something in the first. Well, the Leafs, in a rare fast starter, out ahead of the Hurricanes, outshooting them 8-2. And this goal was so fun to watch develop because what Freddie Gauthier lacks in skill, he makes up for in being an SUV. He just chips the puck to the blue line in the neutral zone and pokes it ahead through 2 defenders. They try to poke it right back, but he just 4-wheel drive. Again, the Hurricanes get the puck. They try to dump it in, but Gauthier's like, I gotta get these kids to practice. And because of the effort, the Hurricanes are eventually able to get it to the point, but not out. Travis Dermott puts it on. Gauthier banging away at the rebound. And Tyler, thank you very much, Ennis, his 5th of the season, puts the Leafs up 1-0. I love when Tyler Ennis scores. Because Tyler Ennis loves when Tyler Ennis scores. I mean, come on, everyone loves scoring. Phrasing. But whenever Tyler Ennis scores, you can tell he really appreciates it. Dude, this guy got bought out in Minnesota. He signed to a contract for League Min, but he was part of the World Juniors for Canada. In the 2009-10 season, he won the most outstanding rookie award in the AHL. Comes in for a cup of coffee in the NHL, 9 points in his first 10 games. Between the 2010-11 season and the 2014-15 season, he had 3 20-goal seasons, and were it not for injuries and the lockout, he might have had 5 consecutive. After that, it was everything he could do just to stay healthy and in an NHL lineup. Not everyone is able to come back from the things that Tyler Ennis has come back from. And he has. Low-key, one of the best stories on the team. Speaking of which, Freddie Gauthier, no, it's true, his 4th point of the season gives him a new NHL career high. Gauthier is impossible to hate. Some may point to his numbers. But what does your chart say about the fact that it looks like Freddie Gauthier gets fantastic hugs? Answer that one. You can't. Freddie Gauthier and Tyler Ennis, 2 completely different looking guys with 2 completely different skill sets at different points in their careers as line mates, finding a way to stay in the lineup. I love it. And the Leafs, who outshoot the Hurricanes 15-8, by the way, head to intermission up 1-0. Actually, before I continue, take a look at this. This is NHL.com. It says that the shots were 15-8. This is from the Hurricanes broadcast in a clip clearly from the second period where it says the shots are 15-7. One of them's wrong. And it might not be NHL.com that was wrong in this instance, but they are still wrong way too often for a league website. Mini rants over second. Little over halfway through the second, Leafs on the penalty kill, Ron Hainsey in the box. Mitch Marner attacks, but he can't get Sebastian Aho, who comes through the neutral zone with speed. You know what's a bad combo? A skilled player coming at you with speed, and 3 guys standing in a line flat-footed. Kapanen, Dermott, Zaitsev, all of them. Aho makes a pass to Justin Williams. Called him Jeremy Williams a bunch of times last time because I'm a Leafs fan. Mr. Game 7 himself essentially has a breakaway score. The artist formerly known as Jeremy Williams, Justin Williams, ties the game up for Carolina, 1-1. No lead is ever safe in Carolina. In fact, the more Hurricanes fans at a game wearing hats, the more likely a comeback. Why is that? Because they've all got their Raleigh caps on. Get it? They're Raleigh caps. They're Raleigh. You're right. About a minute later, though, Leafs in the offensive zone. Who's that in the corner digging and working? William Nylander. I know that guy. He's a Leaf. Draws a penalty, and while the Hurricanes are distracted, Auston Matthews takes it. And look at this. You want to see hypnosis in one picture? Here's 4 Hurricanes basically making a Wi-Fi symbol around Matthews, but only Morgan Riley has the password. Matthews gives it to Riley. Riley throws throws it in front for Janssen, and Janssen appreciates the sentiment. Would that have gone in? Who knows, but Dougie Hamilton swats it into his own net. Morgan Riley with his 10th of the season, a new career high. By the way, it's not even Christmas, and the Leafs are up 2-1. Well, I mean, maybe when you achieve a new career high in goals because a guy on the other team scored on his own net, it is Christmas. The goal was originally listed as Andreas Janssen's. That would have meant the assists were from Riley and Matthews, but because it was Riley, last guy to touch the puck was Matthews, last guy before that, William Nylander! Finally! The secondary assist on a goal where the other team scored on their own net that we've all been waiting for. Whatever, dude. Get the monkey off your back any way that you can and then worry about everything else after that. Speaking of which, we head to the third. Less than 6 minutes in, Nylander gets the puck and he's zooming with those speedy crossovers that we saw in that one video from Austria that was one of like 3 videos that we saw in 2 months from him. Nothing a bitter or anything, and he creates a 2-on-1 with Patrick Marleau. Calvin DeHaan, that guy that Nylander busted open earlier in the game, is the only guy back. Nylander waits. He might actually shoot it. Sykes sends it over to Patrick Marleau. He scores, and it's a 3-1 Leafs lead. Now that is an assist. Look, Nylander did not have a perfect game. He got a double minor for high sticking on Calvin DeHaan, like I mentioned. There's 4 minutes. He got another penalty in the second. That's 6 minutes. But he also drew a call, got a secondary assist, and got a primary assist. I think we can all agree, just looking at this eye test, and it makes sense in his 3rd game back, that was Nylander's best game so far. The penalties were annoying and obviously bad, but he was active. Because I don't think Nylander has had a negative impact on the team. Like I said, heading into this game, 11 goals against in 2 games. He was on the ice for none of them. But just because he's not a negative impact player doesn't necessarily mean he's having a positive impact. In this game, I thought he was more active, he worked harder, he took more risks, and it bit him a few times, but he was rewarded as well. And ironically, the 1 goal that the Hurricanes scored was on the power play. Ron Hainsey was in the box. If Willie was in the box, I would have counted it, but he wasn't, so 12 goals against in 3 games. Willie was on the ice for none of them. By the way, with his 8th goal of the season in his 31st game, Marleau is on pace for 21 goals now. When are we ever gonna stop doubting Patrick Marleau? The answer is when he wins a cup. We got you, Patty. One more thing I want to say about this goal, Calvin DeHaan was the only defender back. The defender who got caught was Dougie Hamilton, who scored on his own net for the 2nd goal, and was on the ice for the 1st goal, vaguely flailing at Tyler Ennis. And on goal number 4, Mitch Marner is the star of the show as always, just zipping, looks like a green streak. For the uninitiated, the green is Mountain Dew. Connor Brown doing his best Zach Hyman impression, huge opportunity on this line, crashing the net. Kinda sorta takes Dougie Hamilton out of the play. Marner does not do the wraparound, he passes in front to John Tavares, who continues to score the easiest goals of his entire career. 4-1 Leafs lead, that's it. Freddie Anderson holds it down because the Hurricanes made a push later in the game, but Freddie looking a lot more like Freddie in this one. Leafs win. By the way, I keep saying Tavares is scoring the easiest goals of his career. One, the reason I say that is they're tap-ins. And all of a sudden the question of how are the Leafs going to score without JVR seems silly. Listen, I'm not always right, but I called this one a little bit. At least in the sense that I said despite all the power play goals, JVR was not the straw that stirred the drink on the Leafs power play. It was Mitch Marner. This goal was 5-on-5, but whether it's even strength or power play, Mitch Marner's usually the guy setting it up. The other reason I say Tavares is scoring the easiest goals of his career, last year he scored 37. His career high is 38 goals. With 19 goals in 31 games so far, in mid-December, John Tavares is on pace for 50 goals. So, can we frig back on now? Yeah, you may. Thanks for asking. William Nylander has more primary points than Nikita Zaitsev. Are you serious? Okay, I saw a bunch of people complaining about Nikita Zaitsev after this game, and yeah, he sort of wore the goat horns on the 1st goal. First and only. Listen, you're not wrong, but can, we be happy? Please rate my sleeping doggo. That's adorable, and I give your dog 29 out of 10 for Willie. Is it time to start calling Mitch Marner applesauce? Maybe. Austin Matthews didn't score last night. Is it time to trade him? Ha! This is how I know you don't watch hockey. Austin Matthews not scoring last night plays right into the Leafs' plan. You see, if he scores less and becomes a worse player, then he's worth less, which makes him easier to afford. If he scores more, then his price goes up, which makes him harder to afford. Scoring is bad for the Leafs' success. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk. I'll end on this one. Do you think Jake Gardiner will resign next year? No, I don't think that. Why would he ever quit on the Leafs? I'm joking, but that's a little lesson. I just want to give a quick little lesson because I see this all the time. The difference between between resign and resign is a hyphen. But don't feel too bad, that is a much more forgivable mistake than your and your, which I see all the time. I know I'm one to talk. Do you think Jake Gardiner will resign next year? If not, do we need to trade a forward for a better defensive core, and who could be traded? By the way, I love your series, LFR. Thank you. I'm very sorry for dumping on you. I found your channel when looking up videos on the John Tavares deal. Oh, you mean the one where I almost cried? God, that was a great day. Thank you. I'm glad you brought up Jake Gardiner because I forgot to talk about him. He had a great game. Gardiner does drive me nuts sometimes, and the last time I complimented him, he was bad. If he signs for a reasonable number, he's worth it. The issue is, it's largely up to Jake. The Leafs can only offer him so much, so it's really up to Jake as to how much of a haircut he wants to take. And by haircut, I mean he's probably still gonna get a raise, but a defenseman like Jake Gardiner hits the open market, probably getting at least six. Six what? Probably million per and years. Look, I'm not in love with the idea of trading a forward for a defender, even though the Leafs do need a defender. The worst teams in the league don't have an identity. Well, that or they don't have a goalie. The Leafs' identity is they're fast and deep at the forward position, and they know how to score, which not every team does. If you trade a forward to get a defenseman, you're taking away from your strength to address a weakness, and you're just becoming a little bit more mediocre. Listen, he drives me up a wall sometimes too, but if the Leafs can get Gardiner at a reasonable number, let's say something that starts with 5, I think it's something worth looking at. They got some good horses on the way on D. I think the right side of the ice on D is the problem though. That's more glaring to me. One final thing, Hurricanes fans, if I were you, see I didn't forget, I'd be heartened by one thing. It's that your team has decided to be the basically ambassadors of fun for the sport. The latest edition, the Charlotte Checkers, your American Hockey League affiliate, now all the players get their own goal song. I'd be extremely frustrated though at the fact that had your team just gotten goaltending, like league average goaltending this season, you might be in like, I don't know, first. Well, no, Tampa's playing stupid, but the Hurricanes could be a playoff team, like a slam dunk playoff team, if they just knew how to stop the puck. And they finally get this guy, Curtis McElhinney, off waivers, and he's hurt. And the Hurricanes are one of half a dozen teams looking for a goalie right now. It's tough. And on top of that, you're not finishing. Man, there was all that Nylander talk. I tell you someone the Hurricanes should have looked at, Josh Levo, who just had a goal and an assist last night. But I wouldn't freak out too much because there's a lot of hockey season left. That's how I would look at it if I were you. One last thing, actually, I should mention, Zach Hyman got suspended for 2 games. I sort of talked about this on Twitter already. So here are the frustrating things about it. Wagner did not get a suspension, and Reeves, which I thought was a really comparable hit, Reeves hit on Wilson, got nothing. But ignoring those 2 things, you have to acknowledge the fact, even as a Leafs fan, what Zach Hyman did to Charlie McAvoy wasn't cool. And I saw a lot of people go, oh, well, McAvoy hit Marner from behind like 13 seconds in. Did you miss that? That's fine, but you can't hit a guy about a full second after they let go of the puck. And I often make fun of people for saying this, but I'm going to go ahead and say it myself. Zach Hyman is not a dirty player. However, this was a dirty hit. And he's being punished for it. It's only 2 games. The Leafs won the first one. Huge opportunity for Connor Brown. Big opportunity for Freddie Gauthier. And they didn't waste it against the Hurricanes. So that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends that the Leafs won in Carolina!